Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up my football guys. Wake up there, guys. Wake up. Man, this is crazy times to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. This season has been unlike any season in history. It figures that in 2020 that we would actually play a game on Tuesday. We have played games on every day of the week with the exception of Tuesday, and well, come next week we'll be playing a game on Tuesday. It's just crazy. I am literally ready to get this season over with. And as crazy as it is, we currently sit in the number 4 position for the NFL draft. Yet 538 or one of the betting sites has us as a 10% chance of winning the division. Let me say that again. One of the bookies has us as a 10% odd favorite of winning the division, and basically saying if we can beat Cincinnati, which is possible, and we beat the Giants, which is possible, and we beat the Eagles, well, the Eagles are officially a slump buster right now with Carson fumble it to him Wentz out there as a quarterback. It is absolutely positively crazy that this season has been able to go through. And I realize a lot of things. Now I don't have, I get a hard way to go when I say that, you know what, losing for the Cowboys might actually be good for this season. I'm not saying I want to see the Cowboys lose all the time, but you look at the times that the Cowboys have been able to turn things around. After the 1989 season where it was abysmal, one victory over the Washington football team. We don't even have that this year. It was the change that was needed for us to be bad enough to get top tier talent and put together some wins. Now, we had Jimmy Johnson, who at the time we didn't realize it was a freaking genius. And I'm not saying that Jimmy Johnson built this on his own, but, when it came to managing the guys on the field, the players, we know that it wasn't Jerry Jones down there on the field telling them what to run. And dare I say, Jerry Jones in there meddling the way he does right now. And I have real concerns about us going forward, after today. Again, Jerry's always said crazy things. Crazy things. But you want to try and give him the benefit of the doubt because you can't be a freaking idiot and turn around and end up building a stadium like AT&T. You just can't. You can't be an idiot and be able to make billions upon billions of dollars. You can't be a freaking idiot and be able to make this the most valuable franchise in sports. But when you hear things like he was doing today, talking about the Denver Broncos having a rookie, undrafted, practice squad wide receiver starting at quarterback, that Jerry Jones is trying to get sympathy and said that's the same thing as Ben DiNucci, who was a quarterback who went to the to Division I AA national championship, okay, who was drafted as a quarterback. If you're making that comparison, you have to question everything that he decides on the field. You just do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We've heard Jerry say crazy things before. Remember how he talked about having AP finishing his career here in Dallas, or talked about, Johnny Manziel, man, show me the money, and ready to draft that guy. Now, as the Cowboys sit, can't forget about this one. That Brandon Wheaton, nobody throws a prettier ball than Brandon Wheaton. You're going to say that about Brandon Wheaton, but you're going to say that Ben DiNucci is the same as a wide receiver. And you drafted him. You're saying that's the same as a wide receiver, yet you drafted him. So there's something here. There's some kind of a disconnect here that's just not working. And I always like Jerry speak because, even if the Cowboys aren't good, the Cowboys at least are entertaining. And, you listen to Jerry Jones say things like this.
Picture if you were a driver of a car and you had a wreck and your hand was almost severed off, but you didn't understand your anatomy. You look down, you're spurting blood, you open the door and run to the woods and either die bleeding to death or shock. The educated man looks down, knows his anatomy, squeezes and knows his best chance is to wait for help. That's because he's been there a lot and done that. And so I'm waiting, I'm squeezing and waiting for help.
Yeah. We're always used to having those kind of quotes. And of course,
I think that's a part of leadership, is to have some of the guys that have gone before that have been disappointed to share it with everybody involved. For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole. So I have that perspective.
We all love the Jerry Jones speak and things like that. And I don't have a problem with Jerry Jones. He's earned the right to do what he wants with the Dallas Cowboys. I get that. But if Jerry Jones is actually making the calls for the Cowboys, if he is really and truly making the calls with the statements, if what he's actually putting out is just bull crap, okay, cool. He's just out there pulling bull crap out. But if this is part of his decision making, it explains why the last 25 years have been abysmal. Because I look at this and say that the Cowboys have been able to get some talented people in here, but it just doesn't make sense. You can't tell me that, honestly, New England has drafted better players over the years than the Cowboys have. I think it's the mistakes that we've made where we've gone through and we've paid people saying we can't live without this guy. And the reality is, in football, you can't do that on a consistent basis. Yet that's been part of our DNA. We're still making the same mistakes now here in 2020 that we were making back in the 2000s, the early 2000s. And until we stop making those same mistakes where we end up having a guy and say we can't live without, and paying a massive amount of money, or being whimsical at guys that you want to bring in. This is Al Davis-esque that we're at the point of. Al Davis was a genius. Al Davis should have been, or was thought to, Al Davis wanted to be the original commissioner of the NFL during the merger. Felt slighted that he wasn't. And you can begin to see the same parallels of Jerry Jones and Al Davis, that right now you have to just kind of shake your head and wonder, what are we doing? And did we really do our homework when it came to hiring Mike McCarthy? Or was Mike McCarthy, you looked at it and said, well, he's got a Super Bowl ring. He knows what he's doing. And just give full control over to him, and he brings in guys like Mike Nolan, that are his buddies, and Jim Fossil. And you look at this and say, okay, he's the guy, without actually doing the research. And this may, in fact, be the problem with the Cowboys. I've kind of looked and said, yeah, maybe it is Jerry, maybe it isn't. I mean, I know that he's got the two suites. He's got his regular game day suite, that holds about 150 people and stuff. And then he's got the elevator that goes up to his GM suite that has the phone that goes down to the field. We used to have Jerry Jones go down on the field in the fourth quarter, and he's out there clapping the team up. But it's time now to really evaluate before we get to the draft. We are literally at a crossroads right now with the Dallas Cowboys, where you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to have more draft capital since 1993, and potentially a top 5 pick that you should be able to get a generational player or be able to turn it into a Herschel Walker type trade. And we truly need to look at this and say opportunities like this do not come along very often. And you must make the most of this opportunity. Because you don't want to end up being the Jets or the Browns over and over and over and over. And I'm not sure that I can even say that we're not those teams in recent history, because we've just become a secondary team in the NFL. And by secondary, I don't mean a good secondary. I mean, we are below everyone else. So that's all I got on for you guys. Doing something a little bit different here with the set, with my Mevo cameras. Actually, I'm able to use them with my cell phone in order to do a video, and hopefully you guys like the effect of it. What I'd like is, I'd like 2020 to be over and just put in the bowels of our memory, somewhere in the back corner of our brain, and get on to 2021 and hope that it's miles and miles better than what we have this year. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. But as always, I appreciate you being here. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.